wait a minute. It's coming. Hold on.
Okay.
Maybe-
Okay.
All right, wait. Let me find a little camera.
Find your little camera.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, everybody, it's your girl, Miss Hollywood, and welcome to the Daily News Wrap. Today's conversation is an important one. Our guest today, Rolanda Watts, a respected journalist, actress, author, Emmy-nominated talk show host.
Emmy award winning.
You're award. Well,
I just got, listen, last year I got inducted into the Silver Circle Society of the National Association of Television and Radio Artists.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
so
we stand corrected, and I love that correction.
40 years in television.
40 years. Okay, but she's also, let me warn y'all, she funny as hell, okay? I call her a comedian. But, you know, today's story, today's conversation is far from funny. And I wanted her to come on while this, you know, the story is still fresh and, you know, the situation is still fresh. And there's a lot of people under the comments under the video that I posted of your story who, you know, the opinions vary, with some people saying, oh, you know, well, these celebrities, they crack me up, or, you know, wow, I feel for her, and, you know, they have sympathy. So everybody has an opinion. We know in this day of social media, you know, it's a whole different planet. But I want to ask you, on the day that this happened, can you just take us back to that moment where you were sitting in the back of your taxi and ICE pulled the vehicle over? Like, what went through your mind in those first couple of seconds?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you, young lady, for having me on the show. I appreciate that. And I think it's a precursor warning for everybody. I had gone to, speaking of comedy, I had just done a comedy show and was heading home after work and flagged a yellow cab like New Yorkers do, and on my way home. And when we got up to my area in Harlem, there was an ICE stop. Now, I'm minding my business in the back of the taxi, scrolling and doing the stuff that we do. And then all of a sudden we see these guys with guns and vests and radios and the rest pulling the car over. And I'm going, oh my God, oh my God. And the cab driver says, I got it. I got it. And so I closed my eyes and started to pray. And I am praying because I don't know the driver's situation with immigration. I don't know if he might do a slow roll off like Renee Good did and they start shooting. I don't know if they're about to bust in the window and drag us out. I know how they feel about Black and brown people. I know how they feel about women. Anything could go down at any time. And then I'm thinking the federal government, the president has said you have free right to kill. So I'm thinking, and let me tell you what's so crazy. Before I left the house, my neighbor called me and she said, Rolanda, they're setting up ICE stations in the neighborhood. I said, what? No. Another neighbor said, no, they're just doing a funeral down there and it's probably the police manning. So something told me, take your passport with you. So I'm in the back of the car and I'm thinking, I've got my passport, but what if I reach for my passport and they think I'm reaching for trouble? What's going to happen then? I am freaking out. I have no idea what's going to happen. So the taxi driver, who is my hero at this moment, was so calm and cool and collected, and he presented his papers. ICE was very firm, but they were not violent. The cab driver was calm. He knew the language to talk to them. He handed them the papers, and they let us go. I was so freaked out. The driver told me, he said, ma'am, this is the third time I've been stopped. And I'm like, this, so there are two other cab passengers out there somewhere, probably going through post-traumatic stress. But I'm looking at this man who works every day to put food on his table. And he has to go through this every day. All I can say is he got me home safely. And, you know, there's some people who'll say, well, you should have pulled out you should have said, I wasn't saying shit.
Right.
Because anything could have escalated that situation. You should have pulled out your camera. I'm talking to guys with semi-automatics, badges, mace, I'm not pulling out shit. And the driver has a camera in his car. Number one, there was no reason to go there because nothing had escalated.
Mhm.
But I'm going to tell you, and I don't come from a generation like a lot of you listeners do, where everything's your camera. Y'all think that camera's a superpower. That camera could get you killed. Now, I'm not saying don't record. I'm a journalist. I understand that too.
Right.
But there are times when you have to have discernment. You have to check out the situation. You have to know your laws in case they knock on the door. My bottom line is you must be prepared because it is terrifying when they pull you over. And
Wow.
listen, and anything can happen and they can do anything. I'm glad I'm not in a zip tie right now. You know, that driver was my hero. And I think about people saying, "Oh, these immigrants come to this country and they're so lazy." Then why are you picking up people on their jobs?
Mhm.
You know, I think God put me in this situation, Miss Hollywood, so that I could be uncomfortable and understand how my neighbor walks on this
Mhm.
earth.
Mhm.
Maybe so I could warn young people who are flashing iPhones. I have no problem with that. But you have got to know when to shut your mouth and close your eyes sometimes. And I swear to God, I have no shame in my game. I played possum. I know when them when them nice people looked in the back seat, they saw a comatose old lady back there because I know myself. I'm not gonna make eye contact because I know I would have side-eyed them. And
Right.
there was no need in me getting in the way of the process of my cab driver who was prepared
Mhm.
and this ICE Gestapo, this American Gestapo.
Right. Or making
So,
it worse, you know?
or making it worse. And so when I
Right.
got home, I was just wrecked. I mean, I've never felt anything. I'm 66 years old. I have never felt anything like that in my entire life. I've been pulled over by the popo. I know the popo, okay? But this was different. This is, with the police, you hope you don't get arrested. With this group, you hope you don't get killed.
Right.
And all this, you should have pulled out your phone, honey. I'm not trying to go viral. I'm trying to go home vertically. Come on now.
Okay. Oh, listen,
So
I love what you just said. And again, you answered the question that I was going to ask next because you shared that you played, played asleep, but you
I
weren't.
played possum. Call it what it is.
Okay, you're
What
playing
does a listen?
comatose old lady,
Look,
whatever.
that possum, baby, that possum taught me something because that's what you do when you're cornered by
Right.
wild animals. When you
Oh
feel like
my
a
goodness.
trapped animal, what did the possum do? And it lives, right?
Absolutely.
So there's no shame in my game. Now, listen, I mean, anybody who knows me and knows my work and know the 40 years that I put behind the camera chasing down stories and stuff, I'm a talk show host, I'm a journalist. If some stuff went down and there was starting to be some friction, I definitely would have come out of possum mode. And I definitely, of course I would have, and I know I would have said something. But at that point, when there was no escalation, no reason for escalation, there's sometimes you just got to be quiet and get your ass home safely because
Oof.
these boys aren't playing out here.
Mhm.
And you think that phone of yours is a superpower, it might be the one thing that makes you a hashtag.
Absolutely. Whoa. Whoa, that is heavy. Now, was there how long did this encounter or how long did this traffic stop or whatever it was, how long did it last?
Oh, just a few minutes,
Like
just long
that's what
enough
you
long enough for them to have a conversation, for them to walk around the car, for them to ask for where he was from, his papers. They had the conversation, but like I said, he had been stopped. He said that he'd been stopped 3 times, so he knew what to do. He knew what to say. He had his paperwork there, and I would say, just as citizens, y'all, I never dreamed in my own country I would have to carry a passport to save my ass, but that's where we are today. That's where we are. I never dreamed I would catch a yellow cab and get stopped by ICE in New York City. That's where we are today. I live in an area where there are a lot of African immigrants. So of course they're up here. I mean, this is like slave chasing what's going on
Mhm.
today.
Wow.
And if I have to tell my story, and let me tell you something. Um, I don't do a lot of videos. I don't do any of them crying. But the terror I felt that night, I wanted you to see that. I wanted you to see Auntie wrecked. I didn't want to clean up the next day, go hashtag about last night. No, I'm fucking terrorized, and this could be you next. It could be your mother, your daughter. Children are having guns pointed at them. They're getting tear gassed. They're getting separated from their families, ripped from their mother's arms. If you don't think something can happen to you in these streets, you better learn to play possum somewhere.
Wow. Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean we don't have a voice. I'm using my voice, and thank God for that taxi driver and me playing possum. I'm here to be able to deliver this message to you.
Wow.
And let me tell you, I tipped him handsomely like he had saved me from a burning building, because guess what? He did.
He did.
He freaking did.
And he would be the one taken away. He's the person, honestly, that they're after. Like, I mean, but
That's right.
hell, us too,
But
Like,
I don't want to cause any problem and then he get in trouble.
Right.
I'm keeping it real cool. Let the man handle his business. And he said before he pulled up and rolled his, he said, I got this. Because I was like, oh my God, what do we do? I was like freaking. Now listen, this may sound, and a lot of people will go like, Well, I had one person in the comments tell me I was being over dramatic or overreacting. And they were like, oh, you're American. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you watching the news? There are American citizens being picked up every day, being detained every day. I'm watching a white female journalist cow-tied. I'm watching a white female getting shot by a white male 3 times in the face and then being called a fucking bitch. So if you don't think something like this can happen to you, and this was benign, and we only see the stuff that the news is showing. If I have to use my experience so you wake up, you watch your surroundings. Let me tell you something. I'm seeing young people now, and now old people too, like me, who are putting in their phones their passports, all of their IDs and things, but also that statement that we say if ICE knocks on the door. Do you have a warrant? And go online, go on YouTube University and look up what a warrant looks like. What are the words you should be looking for, like judicial and a judge's signature? What does that look like? Because they're going to pass you some paper. They're going to ask you to sign something. Don't you sign nothing, because your ass will be right over there in wherever these detaining centers are, where a lot of people are now disappearing. Their families can't find them.
Yep. This is terrifying.
Have that statement. Put that statement on your phone in case they knock on your door, and you can read it to them. I plead the Fifth Amendment. I would like to call my attorney. You cannot come in without a warrant. Y'all want to use your iPhone, use it for that. Real talk, sister.
I love it when you said you're trying to live, not go viral. That really stuck with me. But also, watching that video, like, it almost brought me to tears because of the emotion behind it. When you started to cry and you started singing My Country 'Tis of Thee, I was like, oh my God, like, this is really, like, it's so real, and people do not really understand it unless it happens to them or somebody that they love or that they're close to. It's all a game.
The deep pain for me was realizing that my crying did not come so much from, well, a lot from the terror of being stopped, but also from the realization, the right in your face, you cannot deny it because you've experienced it now, of what is going on in this country. You don't know the terror that you're going to feel. These aren't like cops. Because cops have laws. They have certain rules and regulations that and listen, they're not perfect. But these rogues are not ruled by any laws. They've got the president who says it's okay to shoot and kill. So, yeah, and the pain. See, what you have to understand is I was born during Jim Crow. I know what it's like to drink colored water. When I was in kindergarten, I was the only little black girl in that school because my parents were integrationists. They believed in integration and they would send me in as the guinea pig to integrate places. So my kindergarten in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, centenary was I went to that kindergarten and one day the class was going to go to the park and ride horses and all the kids all excited. And the teacher pinned a little note on my sweater. And I just knew it was to tell mama, what to pack for lunch and all that stuff. We all excited. Do
Mhm.
you know what that note said? That note said, Rolanda can't go with us to the park outing tomorrow because Tanglewood Park doesn't allow blacks or Jews. I'm 4 years old. Welcome to that America. Now, I've had, when we weren't allowed in a country club to go to my high school dance, my white girlfriend stood up for me and made their fathers, who were attorneys, fight for me. And they took shit from those racists because they stood up for me.
Wow.
I was from Winston-Salem, 27 miles from Greensboro, where Woolworth took place. So when you talk to me about sitting up here with ICE with a gun through that window, oh, I take that very seriously.
Mhm.
And that is painful to me because in my lifetime, we have come so far from that moment. And now we about to go back. So damn tootin' I'm crying. You better fucking believe it. And you kids who know nothing about this, you better wake up. You say you woke? Let's see how wake you are now after you hear this talk from Auntie.
Wow.
You better put stuff in perspective and think about me when I was your age and I didn't have an iPhone. Okay?
Okay. Wow. That's a lot.
This is
So,
real talk, baby. This is real
yeah.
talk.
Yeah. So, do you feel or do you fear that this has basically become normalized now? This is the norm for America.
Well,
America.
it will be the norm if we don't stand up and talk about it. If we don't, if I don't, if listen, I'm not going to make it the norm. I'm going to tell you that I am a decent citizen and I was terrorized by people supported by this government the other night. I'm not going to let it be normal. And then I see, sometimes in the comments you have people say, "Oh, calm down. Oh, blah blah. Oh, it's not that." What, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, I take this seriously and I think a lot of people do. And I think the only thing that's going to happen is that we come together and have these types of conversations.
Mhm. Yep.
That you have to be prepared. I teach a voice acting master class, Miss Hollywood, and my motto is when you're prepared, you're no longer scared. So I think that when we are aware that this can happen to anyone at any time and they can do anything,
Mhm.
there's a level of real gravitas that comes over this situation, particularly when you know they are looking for you. So
Right.
I think we need a lot of prayer because I tell you that prayer helped. I know God was with me and the driver in that car that night. We got home safely and alive. And maybe that was God's plan all along because he'll throw you in a test to see what you're going to do. And
All the
if
time.
I can do anything based on that, I want to warn other people, prepare other people, teach young people about what race means in this country.
Mhm.
And you've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. And you got to be nice to each other. Now, I think there's a level, our country isn't just split in political parties
Mhm.
and ideologies. We're split in terms of where our hearts are. I mean, how can we treat people the way we've been seeing people be treated and sanctioned with no impunity? It's a matter of where your heart is. And if you're still supporting Trump at this point, you have made a really decided decision of who you are and where your heart is. And I
Well,
think you need to be able to look in that mirror and
right.
know where your heart is.
But the price of eggs. But But the price of eggs. That's what people said they voted for. The price of eggs. When I post certain things, people call me, oh, you fucking leftist, you this and that. I'm just.
Baby, listen, this whole thing is it's never been about eggs. It's never been about immigration. It is white
Mhm,
supremacy. Call it what it
mhm,
is.
mhm.
Call it what it is.
So why do
So,
people not want to have the conversation still when it's
because you know
right in their
why?
face?
You know why? Because it's so painful. It's so uncomfortable. It just is painful.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to deal with it. It doesn't feel good. It's yucky. But until we deal with the fabric of this nation,
Right.
we can't fix the him. Come on now. You have to get back to the basics of what this is. Now, nobody's saying, of course, somebody knock you in the head and you can't forget that. Well, how you don't forget slavery? I mean, come on. That's not
Right.
our history.
Right.
I think that's the colonizers' history. Our history is how we were resilient and how we're here. They tried to bury us. They forgot we were seeds. We're still here. That's our history, our resilience.
Absolutely.
But the white supremacy thing is and you know what I really am appreciative of, and this is where I appreciate social media and
Mhm,
these types of
mhm,
platforms, Miss Hollywood, because a lot of people have seen the light. Not all racism is malicious intent.
mhm.
I heard a friend say the other day, a white friend says to a black friend, "Man, I am not racist." He goes, "I know, you're just white." Because there's a way you have been raised to think in America.
Right.
It's all smokes and mirrors a lot of times in America. And I think that what is happening is the compassionate hearts, the people who've said, "Oh my God, I never knew life was like that." The Native Americans have a phrase and they say, "You never know a man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins."
Mhm,
And I think a lot of people are trying on others' moccasins right now.
mhm,
And I'll start crying over this too. I'm that kind of sensitive. But I do believe that there's a large group of people becoming more aware of what neighbors have to go through, what their housekeeper has to go through. I mean, we've
mhm,
lost friends and neighbors, our dignity, and I think we're pulling together because it's not just black folks and yellow folks and brown folks who are suffering. Now we're seeing white women suffering.
mhm,
And listen, I saw a white man in his 70s who was going to run the New York City or one of the marathon. I think it was New York City, but he was going to run the marathon. And these fucking ICE agents threw him to the ground, broke his ribs, and after practicing for a year, he can't run the marathon. What did that man do? What was life threatening that a 70-year-old white man did? So I'm not playing with y'all. If I had to throw myself out there, so be it. Just so we could have this type of conversation.
mhm. And I'm grateful that you were so willing to come on and even discuss this. I mean, of course you would, because you are a journalist. You are a talk show host.
Well,
This is who you are.
I see you as a young lady who's trying very hard at what you're doing. And for you to have the nerve and the courage to reach out to me and want to have this conversation. And the fact that I know that I can talk to my nieces and nephews and auntie's gonna be real. I'm that auntie. I'm gonna tell it to you like it is. And I'm very concerned about all of us, but young people, please, you've got to vote, 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 and get involved. And don't try to jump out there when you get pulled over because your time will come. Don't jump out there like Ninja Turtle trying to be a hero. You have discernment and pay attention to your surroundings and don't run. I know you want to because I wanted to jump out that car last night and run, but then I would have been shot and I wouldn't have been able to be here with Miss Hollywood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. On another note, laughter in today's climate. Okay. Listen, you said that comedy is a dangerous sport, but there is nothing more beautiful than making a room full of people laugh. We could all use a little more laughter today in today's world. I think we could all use just a little bit more laughter. But tell me about that comedy side, because when I saw that, I screamed. Okay, that means I was laughing my ass off, but I screamed that I said, "This is Auntie Rolanda from the Rolanda Show." Like, I never know. What?
Baby, let me tell you
Hilarious.
something. It's so funny because I have a show tomorrow night at Comedy in Harlem. If y'all are up here, Comedy in Harlem on St. Nicholas around 147th Street. And I said, you know something, after this horrific incident this week, there's a lot of comedy in it. I mean, I think one of the beautiful things about art in itself, and comedy in particular, is we take our frustration, we take our pain, we take our rage, and we put it on that stage, and it becomes something beautiful because it's storytelling that relates and it deals with uncomfortable things. I'm starting to channel my DL Hughley and my Dave Chappelle, some of that great comedic commentary. And I think the name of my show tomorrow night is going to be Water, No Ice.
Water, no ice.
Because
Well,
after that
there's
situation, I didn't even want to see ice in my water, ice in my cup, ice in my freezer. I don't want to do that. So I said, I got to add a little comedy in it because comedy can also be thought provoking. And it takes something very difficult and it's very healing. I mean, laughter is not only healing, but so is delivering the comedy and writing the material. So, as I always say, shit makes gardens grow. And this is what artists do. And I'm not going to stay down. Fear and faith do not exist in the same place. I will tell you this. I took a mental health day after that night. I took the whole day off. I couldn't concentrate. And then I'd start crying again. And I was just wrecked. And I had some deep talks with Jesus and God. And I remember my Auntie Maya Angelou, who always said, you may feel defeat, but never be defeated. And these may be perilous times, but they're not powerless times. So keeping that in mind, you always give yourself a chance to pull your hair out for a minute, but then we got to get back up and roll our sleeves up because this is no time for fear. And I think we are stronger than we even know, braver than we know. And what does God tell us? Be strong and courageous. And so that's what I'm going to do and get the message out and warn people.
Yes, absolutely. So let me just ask you this because I got like 2 more questions, but I wanted to ask you what more. I mean, starting right here, I'm so blessed to have you giving this message, but with who you are, what do you plan on doing to get the message out there like you just did with me and everybody that's viewing this today? Because we have to stand up and I have to be honest, I've been a little quiet for a while as far as like ICE and stuff like that, because I remember like last year, you go through stuff with social media, but you just gotta pick and choose. Honestly, it's either this or that. I posted like all this stuff when it was like just starting with ICE, but it was bad. And Facebook was restricting me, taking everything away, and I was still posting. I was like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like monetization or the truth. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I just feel like you got to kind of go with the truth because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that about you. That says that you have a lot of integrity with the power that you have with the platform.
Absolutely.
And sometimes life calls for us to grow up and put our big girl panties on and go out there and do what we have to do. I tell you, I was doing a podcast for a long time. I was doing a podcast back when you were probably a little girl, and it was called Blog Talk Radio back in the day. And then I was doing a podcast for so long and we couldn't figure out how to monetize it. And I got pod fade. But I'm thinking based upon the climate today and just having so much to say about this, because now is not the time to be quiet. It's time for all of us to use our voice. Maybe I'm going to follow in your footsteps and bring back Rolanda on Demand. I've got a
I hope I
YouTube
can come
channel.
on.
Yeah, yeah, right. I'll have you on and report for the young, my reporter niece here, Miss Hollywood.
Okay, okay. I would love it. And I hope that you do that because your voice, listen, people, I don't know if you read any of those comments under that video that I posted of you that is doing quite well, I might add. But a lot of people remember you and know you and have so much to say about you. So you said it right now
Thank
with the
you.
climate, it is the time. You need to
It's the
jump
time.
right in like you never left.
It's so crazy because that one video, and like I said, I wouldn't have any intention of going viral. I don't even understand what that means, but it's been about 1 million views, about 1 million views. And I think because it's resonating with
Right.
America, it's resonating with everybody, so I hope to do good things with storytelling, and that might be one way to do that. Brush that old podcast off and bring back some more voices. Now is not the time to be silent. And those
No,
of us
it's
with
not.
leadership and voices and platforms, we can't be the best kept secrets in the world. We got to get out there. Absolutely.
Well, listen, you got to just make sure that you keep me posted so I can go subscribe and follow. I already follow you on everything else, but just let me know when the podcast is up so I can share it and let people know they need to go follow Auntie Rolanda. Listen,
I will. Well, listen, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. You have a beautiful site. You're tapping on some good stuff. Keep doing it. And I love, love, love your integrity and what you're doing. You asked me some great questions. You made me feel very comfortable. And I expect great things out of you, niece.
Before you leave, tell everybody where they can go and follow you, please.
Okay. If you're in Harlem tomorrow night, Saturday, come to Comedy in Harlem. Doors open at 7, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So come on up there. We're going to be having a good time and turn some laughter. We all need laughter right now. Also, speaking of laughter, I've got 2 sitcoms, one called Mind Your Business on Bounce TV, and the other Survival of the Thickest on Netflix. So tune into that. And if you like books, I've got a romance suspense novel called Destiny Lingers. Ooh, that's a good read, girl. It's juicy. But anyway. And this book actually deals with race and class. It's an interracial love story that deals with race and class. So that seems to be the talk of the town today. So there's a good novel.
Comedy in Harlem, how frequent is this? Because I need to come check you out in person.
I do it up there a lot. I love going up there with Jamie and Nikki. It's a Black couple that owns the comedy club. And it's always a great crowd. The food is fantastic. And it's just fun. Come on up there. And then also, y'all, Comedy in Harlem. Yeah, it's at 750A St. Nicholas Avenue. Come tomorrow at 7. The doors open at 7.
750A what?
St. Nicholas Boulevard.
St. Nicholas Boulevard.
Okay. At 147.
147th Street. Okay. And what time?
The doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. But get there because it's going, they fill up quick. And y'all listen, if anybody's interested in voice acting, I'm the announcer for the Sherri Shepherd Show. And every morning you hear me saying, up next. Now, or I say, next stop, there's another yellow cab on the Sherri Show. I go, next stop. And now your host, Sherri Shepherd. That's me. I'm Professor Wiseman on Curious George. I'm a Lowy. If you do game, I do a lot of voice acting. So if that's something you're interested in, I teach a voice acting masterclass, and you can check it all out. I would love to help you become a voice actor if that's something you're interested in. And, and Miss Hollywood, they can go to Rolanda.com and find out everything. ROLONDA. Rolanda.com.
ROLOND.
Not A-O. Rolanda, not Rolanda.
ROLONDA.com. It don't have what, Auntie? It's just Rolanda?
It's just Rolanda.com.
Okay.
Girl, wait a minute. 1 million years ago, before they were .com, I'm a techie. I know that sounds crazy. In some ways, I'm a little techie. And not with TikTok, but with other things. And they were... Listen, back in the day, I was telling everybody, buy your name, buyyourname.com. And they were like, Rolanda, what crazy stuff are you talking about now? And today, now people own their names. Rolanda.com is how I got it way back in the day when they were just starting to do .com. And
I love it.
but
I'm
anyway,
looking for. We're
all
gonna
right,
try to make
baby,
this
I
into
love you.
Yes, love it. Thank you so much.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Listen, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all heard it from her yourself. Y'all didn't know Auntie got down like that, did you? But yeah, she does. I will see you guys later. Not today, but I have a woman who went through a weight loss surgery coming up, and she's going to be sharing her story right here. So you guys stay tuned.